My name is Black, I'm really fat. I'm addicted to cholesterol, I treat it like crack. After school I gotta get a Big Mac, or some pudding packs, or a jumbo jack. Fuck one patty, bitch I need a stack. I need my burger patties looking like some flapjacks. Man, I stay in Costco, I gotta get my snacks. Outback Steakhouse, ribs by the rack. Big like Shaq, in a different way though. Stay away from tracks, I gotta keep my weight on. If I start running, catch an asthma attack. Teeth still clean, not a fan of the flat. On the dollar menu, going ham on these burgers. Ketchup, mustard, chili, bacon, I'm a frankfurters. Bakersfield fried, bitch, I'm a chicken herder. I'm getting too wide, so I'ma need a girder.
Alright, so here I got one against some dude from Smogon. I'm using the same shit. And he's using some sand team with a few dudes that are somewhat out of the ordinary. Those being his Heracross and his Rhyperior. Heracross has a lot of attack. It used to be standard as fuck back in the early DP days. It was a standard Scarfer back then. And this generation is not really seen in OU because it's kind of outclassed by things like Horse. But it could still work if he's like running Moxie with Choice Scarf. That could wreak havoc on my team, assuming my Tornadus dies. But Horse should be able to do about 50% after a -1, so I'm going to be looking out for that. And he's also got that Rhyperior. Shofu used to use one of these things back when he was a nobody. Oh wait, he still is a nobody. LOL. But if you got mad because of that, go just click that thumbs down on this video. Click the X button. I don't want people like you watching my shit anyway. So yeah, Shofu used to use one of these things a really long time ago, and I think it had like rock polish and sword dance. And if he manages to pull that off, it's gonna be quite threatening because Rhyperior is very attack. Wow, he has a lot of attack power. So yeah, the other shit is standard, so I got plenty of stuff for all of that. And let's see how it goes. So I actually figured he'd lead off with Latios for some reason, so I decided to lead off with my Gastrodon, trying to Ice Beam that bitch, and just in general to try to figure out what type of Latios it is. He actually ends up leading with Tyranitar though, which isn't half bad for me since he's more than likely going to set up Stealth Rock, so I'm going to try to fire off a burn on that shit. And he actually decides not to set up rocks. He goes into Latios, which isn't too bad because I actually do end up getting the burn here. And since he switched directly into Latios, I'm pretty sure he's not going to want to go for the Draco Meteor because I could always recover that off. So I figured since he switched in Latios like that, he'd be a Trick Scarfer. So what I did there is I didn't want anything else to take a trick. Ended up going into my Tornadus. Failure. Yeah. That was a complete fucking waste of a Tornadus because he actually did end up going for the Draco Meteor. Like I said, I could have easily recovered off the damage and forced him out and got some burn damage on him in the meantime. But he decided to go for a Draco Meteor, so now I'm down. But Mamoswine's going to come in here and even things up for me as I kill him off with the Ice Shard. So now he's going to go into this Rhyperior thing. I really honestly don't remember why I didn't go into Gastrodon here. Going to Gastrodon probably would have been the safer option, but I figured just in case he'd go for Earthquake, he might be banded and it'll KO my Gastrodon. And for some reason, I figured Gastrodon would be a little more important than Politoed, which was fucking stupid. But he ends up going for the substitute. I'm going to go for Hydro Pump, but luckily I don't miss this time. And he ends up going for the Earthquake. Does kind of a lot of damage, but since I am faster, I'm free to fire off whatever the fuck I want. And I think I'm just gonna stay in here and fire off some more Specs Hydro Pumps. I was kind of expecting him to switch into T-Tar, even though that might seem kind of stupid, but actually I wasn't. This is the turn I was expecting him to switch into T-Tar because he ends up going for Wish, and I miss my Hydro Pump this turn, which wasn't really all that crucial, but I expected him to go into T-Tar here, since not only would he set up the sand, he would get rid of my rain obviously in the process, and he'd take the Hydro Pump. He'd easily be able to live it, and he would gain back the HP, most of his HP from the Wish. But I guess he still wants his T-Tar at full health, so he ends up staying in here. Does not get the flinch with the Parahax thingy going on there, and I'm able to hit this this Hydro Pump. So I believe I missed 2 Hydro Pumps in that whole sequence, and now he's gonna go into this Garchomp. I don't really know what kind of Garchomp that is, so I'm just gonna stay here and fire off another Hydro Pump. Except I fucking miss as he gets up Stuff Rock, and now he's gonna KO my shit. I could have gone into absolutely nothing because Tornadus is really the only thing on my team that wants to take an Earthquake. Could have gone a Mamoswine. I know I would have lived, but at this point I still figured he was the standard fast Garchomp. It actually ends up being a Wall Chomp, which I figure out later on, but at that point in time I had no way of knowing that. So I'm gonna come in here, go for the Icicle Crash as he ends up going into Tyranitar. My Politoed's already died, so he's pretty much just gonna fodder off his Tyranitar. So it is essentially useless for him, although that was kind of good for me since I still have Jirachi. But Jirachi more than likely is not going to be able to do too much since he still has a Garchomp running around. So what I'm going to do here as he brings in his threat Heracross, I'm going to go into Jirachi here simply as fodder. That did a lot more than I figured it would, but there's really nothing on my team that wants to take a close combat. Again, Tornadus, I know it's not the most bulky thing in the world, but this team heavily relies on it for his key resistances and immunities and just overall offensive pressure. So losing my Tornadus early on kind of made this battle really fucking hard for me. So now he's at -2. I don't know why I brought in Horse like this. Maybe I don't know. I guess I could have gone for the Stone Edge, but I knew he'd probably end up switching to Garchomp anyway to resist. So I figured I'd go for the close combat, and that did absolutely fucking nothing. So that's kind of gay because now it's a Wall Chomp, and after the Specs Hydro Pump, if I would have fucking hit it, I'm pretty sure that thing would have been dead. If not, a 2-hit KO would have been very, very easy. But now he's going to go for the Dragon Tail. I know he's going to do that since it did so little, but I can't risk staying in here and taking an Earthquake. I was hoping he'd maybe Dragon Tail me into my Mamoswine, but that is not the case. He actually ends up Dragon Tailing me into this Gastrodon, forcing me to switch out again. No, he fucking hero-winded me out into the fucking Horse. That's what I wanted to say. So yeah, kind of gay, but whatever. So now that my Gastrodon dies, I'm gonna go into Mamoswine, but it is kind of a little too late for that since he still has Heracross and Garchomp, and I really need some damage on that Garchomp in order to kill it with Horse. But he's simply gonna fodder off his Rhyperior here, which is gonna allow him to bring in the Heracross the next turn, and I don't have anything else that wants to take a close combat. So not looking too good for me. I'm gonna need like a million fucking crits, but I have done it in the past, so let's see how the fuck this shit goes. Anyway, Rhyperior finally dies. Now he's gonna go into this thing. I really want a crit here. I could have gone into Horse. I was thinking about going into Horse and letting him die, and then maybe I'd get a crit with Ice Shard, but I figured yeah, Mamoswine is a lot less likely to get a crit than Horse, so I'll just leave Mamoswine in here to fucking die, and then I'll go into Horse this turn. And I quickly calced it. Turns out close combat does about 59% or some shit around there to a -1 Heracross. So I'm gonna go for the close combat. I know he resists, but since he did get the defense drop, close combat was able to take it out. So it's pretty much all up to one crit. I kind of need a crit. If I'd have gotten that fucking Hydro Pump hit, that thing would have been dead a long ass time ago. So I'm gonna go for close combat, and the HP doesn't go down at all because that's a fucking gay ass Wall Chomp. So yeah, kind of played really fucking horribly here, so that's it. So yeah, comment, rate, all that shit. I'm out.